Good morning. My name is Ray. I'm here with Team S.T.E.A.M. and I'm here this morning at Flash Industrial Painting, and we're going to work on fixing a broken birthday surprise. See, what happened was my daughter ordered bid on a recipe collection exactly like the one my wife used to have years ago that she threw out. It got used and she didn't think she'd need it anymore, and for various reasons she threw it out. And our daughter found out about that and that she had regretted doing it, and so my daughter found it on eBay and bid on it and got it, and then she ordered it and it showed up here, and this is the way it showed up. Now, as you can see, here's some extra plastic, another piece, and there's a little bit of a blemish. It's a little schmutz right there. A little bitty scrapey poo right there. And maybe a crack. I'm not sure we could buff that out. Oh, wait, no, guess not. That's the way it showed up. So apparently it got dropped. This is from 1984. So it's old to begin with. And then this plastic's kind of brittle. Well, it's completely brittle. And that's what we've ended up with. With the recipes themselves, we're really happy with. They're in great shape, and there's only a couple of them missing. So the only complaint is, I mean, even if this showed up in great shape, the complaint still is that these dimensions are awfully tight. They're awfully tight both ways. So what we want to do is rebuild it. I'm going to go ahead and build this thing again out of fiberglass. I'm going to build a new bottom. I'm going to build a new top. Do it all out of fiberglass. Now, the first thing I'm going to want to do is get all these recipes out of here, keep them in perfect order, transfer them over to this box, and then store this box somewhere in the house so it's going to be safe until I can get this job done. Now I'm going to want to tape over the entire outer surface here, and hopefully tape some of these back in place. I think instead I'm going to take this fiberglass matting and I'm going to try and build an old-timey stove. Jen's always liked those old-time stoves. She talks about them. She wants one. She wants me to get an old one and rebuild it sometime so she can use it. Those wood-fired ones that do everything. They heat the house, they boil water, they do everything. She loves those. So I think I'm going to find an image, an appealing image or two of one of those, and I think I'm going to build one and build it with the dimensions of the recipe card box. So I'll pick a point on it and split it and hinge it at the back so you can open it and never have to remove the lid permanently and have all your recipes right there. All right, so what I've done is I've gone and found a box that is pretty similar in size to this. And you set it up here on top and you make a line. And you can see where I've done that. There's the line. Other than that, the length is almost the same. The length is about a 1/4 inch or so longer, which I actually wanted. I wanted a little more room in there. It was a little too congested. So I'm going to go ahead and, you see the other lines I made? I'm going to go ahead and cut this whole thing out. Then I'm going to take this section and move it into this section and retape it. So this just becomes this new wall. And so this will then be the same size or the more desirable size that I'm going to go with, but more perfectly rectangular. So now we got a good start here. We'll finish cutting it all out. And now they're roughly the same size. This is about 5.5 inches tall. This is about 6, which I did on purpose. This has about a 1/4 inch wider footprint than this has, which I did on purpose. So it's basically exactly what I want with the straight up and down walls. So this will be my new mold. I'm going to cover it with tape, like I have this covered, and that'll be the next step. So now I'm going to go ahead and get this box covered in some fiberglass. Now to do this job, I'm going to use some tin foil just to put on this board, because although it's a junky board, I use it as a table, a makeshift table all the time, and I don't want all that fiberglass resin on it. I've got another makeshift table there that's got my fiberglass matting on it. I'll cut off whatever I need off of there. I'll need this tape probably to shore up the outside. I'll show you what I mean later. Protective gloves, fiberglass resin, quality fiberglass resin. You gotta be careful about that. And then some mixing cups. And that should get me started. Okay, so what I need to do this job is roll of tape, the box that I made, a couple of pieces of cardboard with just tape over them, because the fiberglass won't stick to it and it'll peel up from it easier. Protective gloves, fiberglass resin, some stir sticks and cups, and over here on this other makeshift table I've got some fiberglass matting that I will cut the strips out that I need to do this. So now I've got all my fiberglass cut. It's going to be 3 layers thick. And so I've made 6 of these, because each one of these goes on the side, and there'll be 3 per side. And then I'm going to get some resin mixed up and get this thing wrapped up. And last but not least, we'll also be using a roller and tray for this job. Okay, so now I've got that done and it's all cured out, as you can see. I'm going to go ahead and take it loose from all the tape and start shaping it and get it ready for the next step. But one thing that's important to remember is that acetone thins fiberglass resin. So you don't want to use that. But lacquer thinner doesn't touch it. It's almost like using water. So you can use lacquer thinner to loosen up things like tape and other things that might be on fiberglass without hurting the fiberglass at all. So this is all sanded. Now where I had to overlap these corners, it got pretty thick and I just sanded right through it. You can see the cardboard box beneath it. That's not a problem. This is part of fiberglass work. This is part of forming fiberglass. This is something that I fully expect. It's right here. I'm gonna chip that piece out. Probably on the other side, right there. You don't try to avoid those, otherwise you're just gonna have a bulbous looking structure. Where it's overlapped on the corners, it's just the way it is. Air gets into stuff. So you chew it all out of there. And then you fill it in with a nice little patch. And then it goes away.